Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you in to the world of professional wrestling. Well, I say professional wrestling. Actually, this week, probably just sports entertainment, because this is an all WWE pod this week because, we're recording a day earlier. Normally we record on Thursday, which is after Dynamite, but we're actually recording on Wednesday because we had problems getting two of us available, really. And we've got WWE Live coming up on Friday. So we thought we'd just do a WWE one this week. But if you're here because you like listening to AEW content, no need to worry, I will have you covered. I'm going to do what I did last week and do a solo AEW rundown. Obviously, I can't do that yet because Dynamite hasn't happened.
AEW correspondent, Fisher.
Pretty much at this point. So I will watch Dynamite tomorrow morning and then I will record a video with my thoughts on Rampage and Dynamite, and that will go up on our YouTube channel. Probably not as a
He's
podcast,
our very own Jim Ross.
Yeah. That will go up on our YouTube channel.
Our very own Drew Gulak.
Probably not long after this pod is released. So if you're listening to it now and you want to hear the AEW, watch or listen to the rest of this, and then go over to our YouTube channel if you're not on it already, and watch my reaction to Dynamite and talk about Dax versus Cash from FTR. Keeney, I know you have some. We'll go on to your top mark because
should I go?
Why not?
I'll start with top mark before we even get into the week shows. My top mark is not. We said this is a WWE pod. My top mark is not WWE related. My top mark is Cash v Dax. It's not happened yet.
Yeah.
We said this beforehand.
Just the announcement.
The fact this match is happening is like unbelievable, and I just can't wait to see these two guys go. We've seen they're really over, and they're definitely a really good run. These two, and I think this match is going to be insane. I think they're going to tell some stories in the ring. They're both amazing wrestlers. And it's the first time they've ever faced off against each other, they've said. So they
both seem so excited about it based on what they're saying on Twitter. So CM Punk as special guest commentator, I think it's all set up to be a classic.
It is.
I can imagine they're going to really go for it if it's the first time they've ever faced off against each other.
The only problem is, Keeney, if this is your top mark this week, next week, now it has to deliver because you've already done it.
So I know. Yeah, week, exactly. Pressure on.
Can it be your top mark 2 weeks in a row?
Could be a double top mark.
And then
Do you know what though? I trust them to put on an absolute clinic.
It's going to be great, I'm sure. But it's just funny. It's just we've never done that before in advance.
No, first time ever. But what is good? Just last point on this is this. Obviously, the winner goes into the Owen Hart tournament, which is a single tournament. So one of them is getting a little bit of a singles.
I think Dax is going to win, by the way.
Yeah, that would be my prediction as well because he had that match with Punk recently.
I think he's the better singles guy. I think he is out of the two.
But it'll be interesting to see. I'm expecting this to just be a straight up wrestling match. No angles from this. No breakup. Just a straight up match.
Yeah,
hopefully. But
and that's something to look forward to. And speaking of things to look forward to, we're all off to WWE Live on Friday. The Recharge boys representing. We'll be there in our t-shirts. So if anyone's listening is going to that, let us know. And
holler at your boys.
Yeah, come and say hello.
If you see our t-shirts, come say hello as long as it's nice.
Yeah. Don't attack us.
Yeah. So we'll be there, and there's a great card for a house show, isn't it? Krusty, give your thoughts briefly on that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the card. It's mad. This is proper stacked card. This could easily be like a pay-per-view. I love the way they do house shows. It's also given us a bit of an inclination as to where the feuds are going, which is a bit cheeky in a way because they announced this like a month ago. Yeah. I mean, we the main one that's really caught my eye is the fact that we have Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for the title, which I know is just one of those things. It's obvious it's not going to change hands. I mean, it'd be absolutely phenomenal if that was the case, but this is showing us the direction they're going. I know we've had a very slight tease this week with Drew sort of insulting the bloodline and Roman saying make sure he keeps his name out our name out his mouth.
You got there in the end.
I thought they would wait till the UK thing, so I'm slightly annoyed in a way, but at the same time it's probably
I really think this feud could go on for a long time though.
It could, to be fair.
They could
do it and come back to it.
Yeah.
To be fair, they could do it now.
The next big one.
Well, you've got Money in the Bank, then
is that before SummerSlam?
Yeah, Money in the Bank's the next one, I think, after Backlash, I think.
Backlash must be soon, mustn't it? Must be like
I think it's 2 weeks away.
A week Sunday, isn't it?
A week might even be a week. Yeah. I don't know, but so we got that. I mean, I can't wait to see Walter or Gunther wrestle in person for the first time against Shinsuke Nakamura as well. That's going to be amazing. You've got Ronda Rousey. I've never seen her wrestle in person either, so that's cool. There's so many guys that I haven't seen. I haven't seen Pete Dunne in person, and he's in an Intercontinental title triple threat match with Ricochet and Sami Zayn.
That could be absolute fire, that match.
We've got Shotzi via Leah. Never seen those two before.
No, so it'd be good just to see them because we don't get them on telly, do we?
And the thing is, last time we went, we had a really good card, but it was all people I'm used to seeing on WWE shows, so it wasn't. It was great.
Corbin's, Owens, Jinders, wasn't it? It was those guys.
Jinder v Drew. Like I'd seen most of the guys. I think Dominic Mysterio was the only person I hadn't seen wrestle.
I think Belair as well. We had Belair v Becky.
Maybe Belair.
Event.
We've also got Uso Street Profits, which is going to be fire. I know we've seen it week after week after week, but
Uso's RK Bro, haven't we?
RK Bro, sorry.
RK Bro.
Also, I haven't seen Matt Riddle, by the way. I haven't seen Matt Riddle in person, I don't think. I don't think so.
This version of RK Bro, we'll probably get onto it later, but I can't wait to see the reaction they get because they're probably the most over people in WWE right now. Especially Orton, but both of them, I think, are huge at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But should we get into SmackDown?
We're talking about the SmackDown tour. Let's actually segue onto SmackDown, the TV show from last week. I wasn't a massive fan of SmackDown last week, I will say. I thought Raw at the moment is on an absolute roll. And I've seen a lot of people saying it, particularly this week on Twitter, that Raw is miles ahead of SmackDown at the moment. And in my opinion, it has been for months, but it's really, at the moment, it's really showing. Particularly with call-ups and new people on Raw. I mean, Cody coming there is a big deal, but other people
problem is they've also lost Brock, who was really... Brock and Roman were carrying that show.
That's true. And Roman's not been in a feud.
Yeah, I actually think Roman's on TV less now. He's on the double belts, which seems mad. But I thought the reason for him winning it was so he would appear everywhere, not appear nowhere.
Before Mania, we had Brock, we had Roman, we then had Seth turning up on SmackDown, you had Kevin Owens, and suddenly you've just got Roman not doing a lot.
Well, you still got Drew every week, haven't you? That's kind of the biggest.
Yeah, but you can't.
And I guess you have Charlotte and Ronda every week as well. But
should we start talking about that?
What, Charlotte Ronda?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could get all my marks out of the way early doors here.
Time to mark.
This is like a loose skid mark. And actually, if I'd have thought about it, maybe Roman not being on TV would be a bigger skid mark. But Ronda, in this segment, it was the contract signing with Charlotte Flair, and we had Drew Gulak again, which I thought was a nice continuation. Glad to see him carried on. I think this angle we probably saw coming when we saw Gulak out there. Ronda got Gulak into the armbar and then signed the contract on him whilst he was in the armbar. But I think her acting in this was poor. I think she's not delivered on the mic at all since her return. I don't know if I'm the only one there, but I think she has been poor.
I was saying that before Mania. I was saying that before Mania, that her promos weren't clicking at all. She could definitely do with a mouthpiece. I think when she gets physical, it's really good. I liked the bit with Gulak and the signing the contract. I thought that was cool.
There was a point with Gulak where she was holding his arm and then she was talking on the mic, and it just looked so it's really stupid. I was like, well, Gulak's in no pain here. Like, you're not holding his arm in any powerful way. You're just holding his arm up, and it just seemed like I don't know. It just didn't work for me at all, this segment. And I wasn't that into this match going into Mania. Now we're getting it again, and okay, it's an I Quit match, but I'm still not sold on this match at all. They need to do a lot to get me into it, and unfortunately, with Ronda cutting her own promos, I don't know if she can sell this match. And Charlotte isn't Becky Lynch on the other side of it. So
no, and the match at Mania wasn't great, was it? So it wasn't. No. It didn't get me excited for another one. Like watching Edge and AJ Styles again, for example, or Becky and Bianca, if they did have another match, they're not. But if they did, I'd be like, okay, great. But Ronda Charlotte's match wasn't anything special in the first place. So that's again, I think an I Quit match is a good stipulation. We don't get them that often, and it's going to be very interesting because I can't see Ronda quitting.
No, so I think that's the interesting thing here.
I do think it's interesting from that point of view.
Yeah,
this feud.
Because Charlotte doesn't get a good match out of it, and to be honest, as you say, it's not been the most fire outside of the ring. So I'm hoping they really put something over so we really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Chris, I think we were saying this in the build up to Mania, and Mania didn't really deliver properly that match. So my expectations of the in-ring has gone down a little bit because of the Mania. I'm sure it will be good. I'm sure, because we know Ronda can be amazing. And I'm just trying to think back. Was Ronda this bad on the mic before? Because I don't think she was, from memory.
I don't think she was great before, to be honest.
Yeah, but I just think at the moment...
I suppose my concern now is, surely their intention is to put this belt on Ronda. If it's in an I Quit match, how's she going to perform if she has that title? But then again, I'm bored of Charlotte having the title. So
yeah,
I would rather Ronda had it, I think, just for that reason. And
I would rather them freshen it up.
Why bring back Ronda if you're not going to give it a belt? It just seems
Plus, there's fresh feuds Ronda can have that Charlotte hasn't had. I know there's not the women's division on SmackDown isn't exactly.
I honestly think the biggest problem here, as much as she's an absolute fantastic wrestler in and out of ring, but I think the problem is Charlotte. I really think we need to pull Charlotte away from Ronda and get her in a different feud. She's a great wrestler and I do love seeing her, but I'm just so bored of this now.
Well, yeah, I wonder how big a problem Charlotte is in all this, because we were saying this about Becky Lynch before, about we need to just get Charlotte away from Becky. And I just wonder how much of a problem Charlotte is, because maybe it's the booking of Charlotte. Maybe they keep her in these feuds too long, but time after time, her feuds don't work as they should.
I think it's just the fact she's put too strong. She's always in a title feud. She's never a non-title feud. She's either the champion or chasing it. And it's kind of like Roman Reigns was when he was a face before, where he's just there all the time in the top feuds. Not cutting great promos, not necessarily having great matches. Totally different to the Roman Reigns we've got now, but Roman Reigns of like 3-4 years ago, I'm talking here.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very similar with Charlotte, and I think they just need to change things up a bit.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I want from Charlotte, to be honest.
I want what they're doing. We'll get to Raw, but Becky's just set up a really interesting non-title feud. If you can do something like that with Charlotte, with any of the women on SmackDown, you've got Sasha, you've got Naomi, you've got the new people like Lacey, you've got Raquel, you've got all these people, Zaya Lee, Shotzi, things we haven't necessarily seen before, or we've seen before but a while ago, and do non-title feuds based on that once she loses the title.
Well, also, you compared her to Becky there. In the past 3 years, Becky's been the man, big-time Bex. Now she's some kind of disheveled character. She's changed her character again this week. And through that 3-year period, Charlotte's been exactly the same. She has not changed in 3 years. Or maybe
she's gone from face and heel.
Ever. But even then, her character doesn't change.
Yeah. That's the problem. You can't tell whether she's a face or a heel half the time.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with the comparison to Roman before. I think that's kind of where she's at. She's just stale as anything. She needs a complete character refresh, Charlotte, and time away from the title picture as well would do her good.
I think so, definitely. Shall we move on to? So that was actually the first segment of the night. If we move on to the first match of the night, was a repeat of last week. We've got Xavier Woods and Butch again.
Oh no.
Bit confused while I did a rematch.
We're going back-to-back skid marks here.
Yeah, well, SmackDown wasn't a great show.
This is a negative start to the podcast.
Hey, I started with a top mark before we even got into the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to turn around when we get to Raw.
Oh, yeah. If you're listening, please wait for Raw, because it's going to be a very excited... We're like kids on the bouncy castle. We're going to be. Yeah. It's that good. That's how good it's been.
Yeah, exactly. And so Butch I wasn't happy when I saw they were doing this match again. I thought maybe, like, you can put Butch in the ring again, but maybe have him face Kofi this time rather than Wood. I don't know. And then they did the same thing. They had him lose by roll up, go mad. And you guys were we were chatting the other day, and you guys were sort of defending this character and it's the way it's going. I'm not a fan because of the way they're booking it. I think it could be good. Like the stuff on social media they're doing where's Butch and all that. People are getting, like, I think there's potential in that. But the way they're having him just lose matches and then sulk about it, I'm not a fan of. That's what's ruining it for me.
I like the character. I like the fact that he's actually on TV for a start, but I do like the character. I never thought that Pete Dunne, as he was, would fit into the main roster, so I understand why they've given him this sort of character. The reason it's my skid mark is because, well, one, he came out to Sheamus's music, which I think straight away shows that they're not putting too much thought into him. They could have anything. They could even have like dog barking as a music, I think would be better than that. Like just
Just use his old music. His old music was good.
Just come out like crazy. I love Sheamus's music, but I think he should come out to his own his theme. Even if you have Sheamus first and then something comes on, it could be really clever with that.
Thing is, they like doing
that. The fact that he lost again to Xavier Woods by roll up.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't mind if he lost, but just not a real quick roll up and up he goes. I'd rather Kofi get involved cheekily or something like that. It's a bit weird. It's not really putting over Xavier, in my opinion, either. At one point, he was looking really strong. But I'm hoping this turns into when Butch actually gets his hands on him properly and then just destroys him. I think that's how they could be recovered. But again, like Keeney, it's a skid mark, but it's nothing I'm like absolutely livid about.
No.
It's been the same for a few weeks now. There's nothing that we've been like, oh my, I absolutely hate this.
Yeah, I just to quickly back on that point, I do agree with what you said there, Krusty. The reason why I like this direction for Butch or Pete Dunne is because I think, as Krusty said, I don't think Pete Dunne works on the main roster as Pete Dunne, and I think this is basically almost the best spot you could put him in. He's come up to the main roster. Okay, he's got a name change, but that's going to happen to everyone, as we've heard.
Yeah, the name changes that don't bother me anymore at all.
But he's in there with Sheamus and the New Day, so he's going to be on TV every week. Okay, I don't agree with the roll-up booking, but with that, I think we've got to see how that goes because they're doing this. Where's Butch? There's a storyline here that I think let's just revisit this once we see where this all leads to. If this leads nowhere, then yeah, it's terrible. But I'm still on board.
I am hopeful, but it didn't put enough into him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if we see on Friday he's losing to Xavier Woods by roll up again, then let's.
If he faces Xavier Woods again and doesn't absolutely destroy him, I'm going to be annoyed just by the fact that he's had another match with the same person with the same result. If he wrecks,
two's bad enough. And it's just a repetitive booking on the show, booking the same match back to back. And that kind of leads on to my skid mark if we want to go straight to it.
Let's just get him out of the way. Let's just get him
out of the way. Let's go on the negative stuff.
Do you know what, though? Some people might enjoy us.
Ruined, isn't it?
Some people might enjoy hearing us skid all over the place. So.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah.
They might. And again, this isn't something that, like you just said, where it's absolutely terrible and I'm really angry, but this just irritated me a little bit. Again, it's the same thing, booking the same matches, advertising Drew versus Sammy. I was like, okay, first time we got that, I was like, that's a cool match to do on SmackDown. Waited a week to get it. Then Sammy runs away. I was like, okay, then Keeney rightly predicted a lumberjack match. And I thought, okay, the lumberjack match, that does normally end what they're doing. So he won't be able to get away. But there's so much shenanigans around the outside of the Usos coming down, attacking Arcade Bro. All of the guys around the outside brawling. Mansoor was there. They were all there. All the jobbers and the mid card and just everybody really starts brawling. The Viking Raiders are out there. Causes enough distraction that Sammy escapes. And that was my problem with it. He escapes into the crowd and then Adam Pearce comes out and goes, oh, we'll have a steel cage match next week. What's next? What if he climbs out of the cage or he gets out of the cage before the cage comes down? That was going to
be my question.
You're going to go to Hell in a Cell.
You actually think we're going to get steel cage? We're going to get a proper match this week?
But this is what's annoying me about it. Like, I don't mind them building a story up to lead to the steel cage, but in my opinion, you can do it without advertising the match 3 times. I just think it's a bit stupid. You can have Sammy trying to get out of the match before it happens. That's what should have happened. They should have just not done the lumberjack.
As long as he
match.
doesn't walk out the cage door. If he climbs over, I'll accept it. If he goes out of that...
That's winning, isn't it? If you climb over the cage, technically win.
Yeah, I think they have that in WWE, don't they? I forgot. They've taken it out of that in AEW, haven't they?
Yeah.
But if he walks out of that cage door, I'm going to skid all over that.
Yeah, and it's
just
the end of it. Like the crowd wasn't into it at all. And to end on this, like a non-finish of a match, and then you just had Jinder and Shanky get in the ring, start beating Drew up, and then Drew hits the Claymore on Jinder whilst like looking at Sami Zayn in the crowd. But I feel like it's not heating because if we are getting Drew and Roman as the next feud, it's not heating Drew up enough after the Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin feud that was kind of mid-card and a bit boring. For him not to move on to...
I don't think you need to worry about that because we're going to get the Usos come first and he's going to go through them. Then it's going to come to Roman. I think they've already planted the seed. And this week.
I just hope the match with Sami Zayn. I have seen SmackDown was taped, so I've seen a bit of spoilers from SmackDown, which I tried to avoid. I haven't seen anything about this match, so I'm hoping the match happens and it's good. And then at least then next week I can be like, okay, we got a fine payoff, and then I won't be so annoyed about it. If we have a great cage match between Drew and Sami, which they are definitely capable of doing, and they give it time. Yeah. SmackDown this week looks more promising. You've got the beat the clock challenges with Ronda and Charlotte, which could
I'm not a fan of those, by the way, beat the clocks.
No, but at least you might get some interesting women matches on the card.
I reckon they'll both be against Gulak. Is my prediction.
They could quite possibly be. I think they might do Charlotte.
Poor old Gulak.
And again, if it's Gulak, I'll find that entertaining, so I won't mind too much. And you've got this between Thingy and you've also got Ricochet v Shanky, which I'm sure is going to be a 5-star classic
title match, isn't it?
I suppose one thing that I sort of you mentioned briefly is the fact that they're doing the same matches every week, which is annoying. And we've mentioned it. I mentioned it earlier with Butch and
it's
Xavier.
A real SmackDown trait. The
problem is though, I wouldn't mind so much on Raw. They got a long time to fill. SmackDown, when you take out all the advertisements, so just adverts, so not even rubbish they put in the middle, you're about an hour and 20 minutes of content. So why are you recycling things every week when you've got people on your roster you're not using at all who can actually have a good match?
Yeah, it's madness.
SmackDown is bad at the moment. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I just want to quickly add a point on your skid mark, Fish. I completely agree with the skid mark, and I think what makes it worse is the problem is repetitive booking, and we just spent 5 minutes talking about Butch running off and going missing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we spent another 5 to talk about Sami Zayn running off, and it's like you've got to sit down as a writer and look and be like, those storylines are fairly similar. It's someone running off and
they're not satisfying. I don't mind them having similar storylines.
And it's the same thing. It's a repeat match. There's no satisfying conclusion. So that two different spots on the card is a bit.
If you look at the matches on this show as well, so you had Woods and Butch was a roll-up finish. There was no women's match on the card. There was Sammy v Drew, which he just legged it. I think there was there Riddle versus one of the Usos?
Riddle VJ, I think.
I think that was decent enough. And then you had Gunther in a squash match. And Madcap Moss v Angel in a very, very quick match. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of wrestling on the show, which to your point,
Yeah, well, just one last thing on Sami Zayn before we move on is we haven't mentioned he knocked on the Tribal Chief store.
Oh, I did like this bit.
Sami Zayn interact with Roman Reigns, although Roman Reigns did not acknowledge him at all, did he? But
afterwards he did say, "We'll deal with this."
Yeah, but I do quite like how Sami overheard Drew talking to RK Bro.
This was the bit I was referring to.
That was what I liked about Sami Zayn.
That was the best. To be honest, that was probably the best things on the show. The bit with Drew and Orton making up. Yeah, sort of remember. At least they covered that. And
in a way, I wish we didn't know that this feud was coming in, because this would have been even better. But we sort of already know this.
What's weird as well is they kind of set up Roman v Nakamura, and it seems to have been completely set aside.
Nakamura was one of the lumberjacks. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's done then. Nakamura means nothing anymore. Like, why
they set it up and then didn't do it?
I'd actually completely forgot about.
Yeah, why did he come into the ring on that first SmackDown?
I don't know. It makes no sense. On? I really thought we were getting Roman v Nakamura at Backlash, and a lot of people were excited about it.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
I'd forgotten.
Yeah,
where's that gone?
You're talking about, Preston, about you've got all this time and all these people. Well, we haven't seen Nakamura since then. Like, he's a good wrestler you could use.
That is so weird. I completely forgot that happened.
Yeah.
And
now we've got kicked him, and that's it. Never seen again.
And we're seeing Gunther versus Nakamura. So I guess that's maybe where they're going. But
yeah, maybe. Because Gunther needs a feud. He had another good spot.
I can watch him this on SmackDown. Even if you did Nakamura versus Roman on SmackDown, that's a cool, fresh thing to do.
Yeah.
You're just going to have Roman sat there for weeks now, not doing anything.
They obviously don't want him on TV, so I don't know. I don't understand the whole Roman thing.
And he can't be injured or anything because we're going to see him wrestle Drew.
Yeah. So we mentioned Gunther there. So he had a quick squash match. I can watch him beat people up all day. He beats up this the guy was Teddy Goods or something.
Yeah, Teddy Goods.
He just beat the crap out of this guy, which I can watch him do all day. But yeah, I'm ready for a feud now. And if we get Nakamura as a feud, then that's fine. But
Yeah, but
wouldn't mind him seeing him
I do like this squash is a good way to introduce him.
It
to
is
the
for a couple of
roster.
weeks. It's good for 2 or 3 weeks. And
I wish they did this for Raquel as well. I'd quite like to see Raquel.
They might do. That's
just
another thing.
destroy-
Actually, we're getting Raquel's debut this week. I wonder if she's going to do. They're going to do the same thing. Imagine if she's one to beat the clock opponent, she just gets beaten by Ronda in seconds.
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah.
I don't think they will do that, by the way. Talking about women, actually, Zaya Lee cut a promo on this show, and randomly has turned heel by the looks of it. Do you think maybe they're setting her up to feud with either Lacey Evans or Raquel because they're baby faces?
I assume they have a plan for her. Otherwise, there's no reason to do this.
Yeah.
I think it would do good for her. I think it'd be better.
Yeah, well, she was a heel in NXT, wasn't she?
For quite a long time with the Mei Ying thing. And that,
yeah.
She was a babyface at points as well, I think. But
I mean,
she's cool, one of those. But I think she didn't get over, did she? Really? It's very difficult to get over. It's very hard. Face. I think it's easier to get over as a heel, isn't it?
Yeah. It definitely is.
She had like 2 TV appearances as a face. It's very hard to cement yourself as a proper. She wasn't in the Royal Rumble.
I thought her entrance was really cool.
Yeah.
Thing is, we had her entrance, then she'd come out, she'd defend somebody. Then that
wouldn't lead to anything. Yeah.
She defended Naomi and I think Aaliyah.
The odd promo.
That was it. And then we never saw her again. That was
the odd sort of cool anime promo, which she wasn't really involved in.
Yeah.
But no, I look forward to this. She's a very good wrestler. So
if we see her on TV, then I'm happy.
Yes.
I think. What did you guys, as we're talking about the women's division, what did you guys make of Lacey Evans? With a third heartfelt promo.
I'm done now.
Too much
these promos. Yeah.
I want to see her wrestle now. I
just want to see her get in the ring because she's a brilliant wrestler.
And also, I
got a point across in the first one.
Well, this is it. Sold. I don't think she's developed anything from week 1. I don't know why these other 2 promos have come.
The only thing the third one had that the other 2 didn't was it did relate more to her wrestling background, which didn't mention in the first 2. Which I did like that aspect of it. She just spoke about her wrestling. I didn't really know much about her wrestling background before WWE, so that was cool bit. But other than that, I'm ready for them to move forward rather than doing the same thing.
I'd rather have done it in ring. I think
that is a recurring theme, isn't it? The last 3 weeks we seem to have got the same Lacey Evans promo, the same Sammy match,
the same Gunther match, squashing people.
Yeah,
it's literally been the same show.
Butch, it has been. You're
nothing
right,
has moved forward at all in 3 weeks. That's my issue with it. Whereas Raw seems to develop new things every week and has satisfying matches and.
The Raw roster's fire, that's why.
Well, I think we should move on to Raw in a minute, but there's maybe 1 or 2 things to just quickly mention.
Well, you mentioned Riddle, Joe, so...
Yeah.
Well, we saw Corbin
steal the trophy
as
well.
End of days and steal Moss's trophy, which I thought was quite cool.
That was okay,
Not too sure about this continuing, but still. We saw an End of Days, and I'm happy whenever I see an End of Days. It's been a while.
It is a great move.
I personally think the way they broke up and... they broke up in a way where the face left the heel as if and I think was it this week where Corbin was asking to come back as his second in command and he was like there's more chance of you growing hair or something was what Madcap Moss said. And so I actually think the way they broke up, I think we need to see them have a match. We need to see some conclusion to this team and then move on. But you're probably right. We probably will see this go on for longer than 1 match.
I think we will as well.
But I think they're both really good in ring. We've not seen them wrestle against each other yet. So I think it could be a really good match.
Yeah, that's true. And the only other real thing to mention was Sasha and Naomi did a promo, which was interrupted by Naomi and Shayna Baszler, which means I think we're getting that feud, which is the only other tag feud possible, basically. So, there's no other tag teams to feud with, so that was obvious that was coming. But I'm sure that'll be okay.
Yeah. Should we go on to Raw?
Yes, let's get more positive because I think Raw was a great show this week. Really.
I mean, to one of you two want to give us a top mark, we need to get some positivity in there. I don't mind which one of you does it.
I can start.
I think we should go straight in with Fishers because it ties in with the opening segment as well, doesn't it?
It ties with the opening and the main event. So the opening and the main event basically. So it's all about Randy Orton, and Randy Orton is the point of this top mark really because
he
20
was the point
years
of the whole show, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was Randy Orton appreciation night, wasn't it?
20 years of being at the top, and he has been at the top for 20 years. He's never really had that real drop off. Where he's not been a top star in WWE, still as good. If not, he's probably better than he's ever been. Honestly, he's still so good, and he's more popular as a face than he ever has been. That's for sure. And I just think like the crowd were reacting to him. The friendship with Riddle like looks really genuine and real. It was just really cool stuff. So Riddle starts a show in the ring. There's a lot of the guys around the outside. You know, a lot of the Raw rosters there, T-Bar and co. You know, guys you don't see every week. Some guys even like Bobby Lashley
outside.
Yeah, there were some stars there.
Seth?
And then I saw like when I saw Seth over by commentary, I thought, okay, something's happening in this segment with Seth because there's no way he's over there. There's got to be a reason why he's there in that position. And so Riddle sort of talks about Randy, introduces him as you'd expect. They have a nice little moment. Orton cuts a really good promo about Riddle being his friend, and now he's having more fun than he's ever had, which I genuinely do believe because you can tell.
Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then Riddle says he's got a surprise and brings out Cody. And that's why I was like, okay, Rollins, this is where Rollins is coming in then, because Cody and Rollins are obviously feuding. Really nice little moment between Cody and Orton, obviously former tag team partners from Legacy.
Yeah, I kind of briefly forgot that happened. I was like, oh yeah.
12 years ago or whatever it was. So that was...
Poor old Ted DiBiase Jr.
Yeah, no, Ted DiBiase Jr. He's the only member of the faction, not
the forgotten member.
Yeah, he's not the least successful member by quite a distance of that faction.
Yeah. He was good as well, but anyway.
But yeah, so Cody and Orton have a little moment. Cody doesn't actually say a word in this segment, which I actually thought was... I love Cody's promos and I love how over he's been, but I liked that they left it about Orton and Cody didn't take over the segment. He doesn't need to be the center of everything every week. I think that's a smart idea. He was still in the segment and he was still in the main event, but it wasn't all about him. And I thought that was smart here.
Yep.
It was more, they kept it about Randy Orton. And then obviously Ezekiel got into the ring, didn't he? I think. Rollins got in first. So Rollins gets into the ring, starts having a go at Cody and Orton, and then Ezekiel gets in. That follows by Kevin Owens, and they're all these stars are getting in the ring. There's a bit here where I loved where Rollins was inspecting Ezekiel's hair, like trying to work out whether it's him or not. Really just good little details from Rollins. And Owens obviously is getting in there. The Usos come down as well.
I pop whenever the Usos music drops.
All these 8 guys in the ring, like
every time.
Legitimately 7 of the top stars, I would say, in the company, and Ezekiel.
Yeah, random Ezekiel. They're trying to push.
I do like Ezekiel.
But I was just going to put a quick pause on your top mark. What do you guys make of Ezekiel? Because I bloody love him already. I love Ezekiel.
At first, I was like, okay, this is
I like it. But just like I think like Elias though, I really like it at the moment. I think it's going to wear thin quite quick. You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. But at the moment, banging.
And
Love
also,
it.
just
Speak
one
with
thing.
Zeke and all that.
One thing that goes for Ezekiel is he's working alongside Kevin Owens, who can make anything work. So he's against.
And I would argue as well that Elias can make most things work that he's been dealt with in the past as well. Other than the Jackson Riker feud.
This isn't Elias, Fisher. This isn't Elias.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I keep forgetting. If his brother has half the talent that Elias had, then he'll be all right. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Well, we haven't seen him in the same place at the same time yet. I don't know if we ever will, but I believe him. It's
a nice comedy act to put alongside that lot.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It just feels a bit like it's really good, funny because you got like genuinely like 7 of the top.
Yeah, he did feel like the odd man out, didn't he?
He did feel like the odd man out a little bit, but not that much that it was like ridiculous. Like it was fine, especially when he got into the match. He was good. No, yeah, exactly. It's not like that. But yeah, so Adam Pearce then comes out, obviously, and
I think Fisher's got a script in front of him.
Makes an 8-man tag. I really like the Usos line actually, where they said, "Our favorite Randy Orton moment is the one where we beat them for the title."
Oh, that was fire.
Yeah, that was really good.
Well, also later on backstage, you had KO and Seth arguing about because he called him fat last week, and then the Usos come along and they were like,
"Two are gold, aren't they?"
They were like, you like the Tribal Chief sent us here, and you don't want to piss him off, sort of thing. And they walked off, and I just
said something really clever as well with something like, "We're the A or the B."
Yeah.
So see you later or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever they said, it was really good. I did like it.
Usos, they're getting a bit more screen time. Like I said, the tag division has been escalated to the top of the card as it's now basically the main belt on either show, the tag team titles. So they're doing a good job, and it's nice to see the Usos get pushed again because they haven't been put. Even as tag champs, they've not been pushed that high.
SmackDown, Raw, the lot.
Yeah.
And then of course, so we got to we got to the actual match itself as the main event. I'm glad they did it as the main event and not just put it in the middle of the show somewhere.
Definitely.
And it was just a really fun 8-man tag, as you'd expect, really.
Yeah.
There were some bits with Usos and Cody. I thought they had like a really good little segment. Again, something I've not seen before, the Usos wrestling against Cody Rhodes. And I thought that kind of gave a nice sort of bit of foreshadowing. If we ever get Cody and Roman, maybe we'll see that again in the future with the Usos. And just really good stuff. Riddle and Rollins as well had a banger of a bit in there somewhere. And then Orton, of course, finally tags in. There was one bit where Seth pulled him off the apron where he was about to tag in and the crowd booed for that. But then eventually he got in Orton, and then it was just Orton showcase.
It was an Orton,
throwing like everybody onto the announce table, hitting RKOs. And it was just the Orton show.
4 RKOs, I think, was there in that match?
Quite possibly.
There was points as well when I was like, oh, it's like you said earlier about Cody stealing the limelight, but like these guys were like almost going for their finisher, and then they like pushed them towards Orton and set them up for an RKO. So as you said, all about Orton.
Yeah, there was a finisher fest towards the end. Like KO did hit a stunner. There was a couple of super kicks from Usos. So it really picked up paces, but it ended with Orton hitting like 3 or 4 RKOs, which is how it should have ended on that night. That was the perfect thing. You know?
It was fantastic. It was a perfect ending. You're right. And this felt very old school WWE booking where they open up with just all the stars in the ring, and then it
felt like
to
something
they're
doing in 1999 where you got Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Kane.
It was just
Mankind, Triple H, all in the ring.
Like,
it wasn't quite obviously that level of star.
No,
but for what they have now,
it's good.
That's as good as they can almost get, really.
Yeah,
on the Raw roster. So that was what was I liked about it, and the match was really fun.
Yeah, as long as they don't do it every week. I love.
You don't want mixed random tag matches every week, but every now and then like that, they're really fun.
For this, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's
great
nice
top mark, Fish.
Yeah, it was the feel good moment of the week, I think.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Very good.
Right. What else have we got from Raw? We had the Raw Women's Title match. What did you guys make of this one?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of predictable in the way it was going because Sonya Deville's done this before where she's changed the rules middle of a match. I think she did it against Naomi on SmackDown. So they did the count out like straight away, and I was a bit worried. I was like, is that it? But as soon as she changed the rules, I was like, okay, we're doing this, are we? Where she's going to keep changing the rules. And then she got DQ'd, and then they changed it. And it's obvious Bianca was going to win. And
Carmella and Zelina come down.
Yeah, one thing, this could have been my skid mark, is why are Zelina and Carmella together again?
Yeah, I thought they broke up.
They split. That was my one criticism of this match.
I was really happy they had split. The thing is, it feels like they're almost teasing another split.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe they just want a match. Maybe they want a match out of them, and they cut it too close to Carmella's wedding. Maybe they're going to have a match.
I think they realised they've got not many enough teams, and they want to.
I think you could have done the same storyline, but just had Natalya and Shayna come down. I know they're on SmackDown. I know it doesn't make much sense, but that would make more sense than bringing down a team. Or what's happened to Nikki and Doudrop?
I was going to say you could have had Nikki Doudrop or Nikki
Doudrop.
I don't know. I think she's been in the UK actually for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think
she's on the UK tour, is she?
No.
Oh no, actually, I guess
she's on Raw though. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you could have done something like that. It's a bit weird, but I did like the fact that Sonya kind of got 2 people to come in. And I did notice, and they've done it very well, particularly on Raw. They did it on SmackDown to an extent as well. They've used a lot of people on the rosters, particularly on Raw. I thought they used people really well, even if it's just little cameo roles like that. And I think SmackDown, like Drew Gulak's getting them little. I think they're trying to use as many people as they can, which I think is smart. So I think that's why they did it again here to get them something to do. And but it was it was okay. It was a bit predictable, but it was in her hometown, and I'm just glad she got the win. You had Kane there giving her the pep talk before randomly as well. It was all right. It was nothing special, but it was all right, wasn't it? I'm glad they didn't do this on a pay-per-view. It was just for Raw, a title match on Raw. This was fine.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough.
Should we go on to something that was a bit special?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we had Becky Lynch's promo, which was interesting in its own right because she's looking like she's gone a bit crazy, which is cool. Yeah. Again, you said she's changing a character up again.
Always keeping it fresh, Becky Lynch.
I felt like she was channeling Seth here. which I thought
Yeah.
was
Yeah, she
interesting
did
about
feel
it.
a bit Seffi, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's almost like her last character was as well, which is very clever because he's so talented. Why not sort of train and be influenced by
I think
that?
it makes sense for them to have, if not the same character, but similar characters. And
Yeah.
they don't have to interact with each other. They can just do their own thing. But
Yeah, just make it subtle.
That's perfect when they do that. At the other extreme of it is obviously AEW's Sammy and
well, I was
Conti
actually about to mention Sammy
disaster.
and Tay before this disaster. They did have a few subtle nods to each other before, but then they've just gone too far.
They've gone the whole hog, haven't they? But yeah, this was a great promo and nice to see Becky Lynch just shuffling it up, and then completely unexpected. I don't know if either of you guys had heard anything about it, but we get Oscar come out. Which
this one completely threw me.
I was proper excited.
I did actually see that this was probably going to be happening, but I
did
still
Vince text you again, Fish?
Yeah,
no, it was on Monday.
Fish has got the script in front of him.
On Monday, there was a lot of talk about. I saw some stuff about Becky and Asuka being a feud.
Okay.
So no, she was coming back that night. But when I realised Becky Lynch was coming out and cutting a promo, I was like, we might get Asuka here. It was still really cool though.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I didn't expect the other comeback later on in the night, but I did. I kind of
we'll segue onto that in a second, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think the sort of absence makes the heart grow fonder works here, because I wasn't too bothered about Oscar at the end. I was a little bit bored of her, but actually now she's come back, I'm really excited. Someone fresh, someone who can wrestle.
She got a really good reaction, didn't she, as well?
Oh yeah, big. Yeah, I'm really excited to see this. I know you're a huge fan, Keely. So what were your thoughts on it?
No, I am. I love Asuka, and what I love about her, again, she doesn't really change her character. She's always the same. Like, even I swear she wears the same ring gear all the time as well. She doesn't really ever change much up.
No.
But like, again, all her like little movements and her dance, and I just love her demeanor. Asuka, brilliant. And again, she doesn't. I think she says some words in Japanese at the start. I think she maybe I can't remember like what she said in English either. But I think it's always good where you don't have to, these non-fluent English speakers, you don't have to push them to cut a promo in English. Let her just shout, in a native language. And I thought she was great. And for a feud which isn't going to involve the title, this is as good as you can get.
Well, that was going to be my point.
By the way, men or women, this is about as good as you can get.
That was going to be my point. Is you've got Bianca obviously in a title. She's the champion. She was feuding with Sonya Deville. Okay, they might move that onto something else now. We'll see. But you've also got this is a B women's feud which is a really they're going to give time and take
really
seriously.
Strong.
And then you've also got Liv and Rhea. That's three solid women's feuds on Raw. So I really like it. I like it. I love the fact that Asuka coming back is exciting. She's great.
Shows up SmackDown massively, doesn't it?
She's one of the best in ring. They could. I mean, I know they've got Lacey to come back and Raquel now, but yeah, maybe they could do with someone coming in like that.
Bailey.
Well, yeah, Bailey would be perfect, wouldn't she?
I think so.
Well, you mentioned,
or even Alexa Bliss.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about her.
Can't wait for Alexa Bliss.
I think she's still part of the Raw.
She did come back for the Elimination Chamber.
I think she's officially on Raw
again.
Yeah, that was just a gimmick thing, wasn't it?
That was a mess.
It's a shame, really. She's such a phenomenal wrestler, and she did really well in that match as well.
Maybe she'll be next for Bianca Belair. Maybe.
And I think Alexa Bliss is also the best actor they have.
Oh yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah,
she is the best in wrestling right now. I think she's that good.
Very good, Sean. Very good.
That's all right.
Thank you for that.
What should we segue on to now then?
I think we should segue on to what you touched on.
The other return.
The other women's.
The surprise return.
Yeah, this one was, I think, a big shock. I didn't expect him to be coming back. I don't think anyone expected Ali to have set foot in a WWE Mustafa Ali. So Miz, and it's a Miz TV segment with Austin Theory, which I thought was a good pairing as well.
Yeah.
Just rubbed off each other perfectly. It was like the Spider-Man meme, pointing at each other.
It was great, actually. I did enjoy these.
Bigging each other up.
It's brilliant pairing.
I thought Theory showed some good charisma here, actually.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that this is the first time we've seen Theory really do sustained bit of mic work. We've heard him here and there, but we've never seen him in a talk show segment before. So it's nice to see, and I think he matched the Miz here. I thought he was brilliant. Theory.
Yeah, he held his own, certainly. And then I thought the segment got even better once once Ali come out, some of the lines here were savage but good from Miz, saying you still work here. You took your ball and went home.
Some of these were nasty.
And then he said, are you Mustafa's younger brother? Kind of having a dig about Elias, his brother coming in, which I thought was hilarious.
What I liked about this was where Miz was like, I don't have any clout here, so I can't get us a match. And then Theory's like, I just text Vince, I've got you a match.
That was funny.
Brilliant.
I did like that.
And I really like a couple of Ali's lines as well. He came across great here as a babyface. I think bringing him back, he was a heel before he last time we saw him, wasn't he? But him bringing him back as a face, I think, was the right decision in these circumstances.
He got a really good reaction.
Yeah, he got a good reaction. And him just saying, what did he say? All biceps, no balls to Austin Theory.
That was hilarious.
That was
great.
That was a really good line, delivered really well. And I was just like, yes, this is cool and great to see him. And potentially in the United States title picture as well.
He's in the upper mid-card picture here. He's with the Miz and Theory.
To be honest, he was that salty when he left, and the things he's been saying.
Yeah. He's been tweeting when he was rumoured to be in the Rumble, he was like, I don't want to be in the Rumble, I want my release. Like, he was tweeting that openly.
Yeah. So they've obviously sat him down and said, we will give you a good go. Yeah. Because otherwise he just wouldn't bother, would he? So
he's so talented.
I reckon they've said to him, look, we'll give it a few months. We'll put you on TV. We'll put you in a decent spot. If you're still not happy, then we'll release you. If you come back to us to say, look, I really want to go, we've given it everything, then you can go. I reckon that's what might happen. But hopefully they turn it around and he's like, no, I'll stay. Hopefully,
This could be good.
There's always a second chance. Sasha Banks asked for a release like 3 years ago, didn't go, and then anything can happen.
Cody Rhodes is back, guys.
Exactly.
There's second chances.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
But this led into action at Ali against the Miz, which Ali won. But I think maybe the bigger talking point is what happened after the match.
Yeah.
Where Ali goes down to the ramp, and then we had Ciampa attacking from behind.
So another turn.
Yeah, and I mean Ciampa's been called up since Mania, but we've not really seen him, have we? I think he was backstage one week.
He did an interview with Elias. Oh, sorry, Ezekiel. I keep doing that.
I have no idea who Elias is for sure.
Yeah, sorry.
I know basically Kevin Owens died right now.
He died. I know. I am a KO fan. You've got to remember this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm on this side.
But yeah,
maybe you just need to have a speak with Zeke.
Yeah.
So for me, I watched this and I was like, I cannot wait for Ali v Theory for the US title. That's going to be some feud.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're going to get Ali v Ciampa, which I'm fine with. I just, in my mind, a better match is Ali v Theory than Ali v Ciampa. But I'm happy whatever happens because Mustafa Ali is amazing. As so's Ciampa. They're all brilliant. But...
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just excited for what happened. Ali v Ciampa is genuinely an amazing match. And by the way, they have shortened his name to just Ciampa now, officially.
Take it away, Tommaso.
Which I thought they would do.
Tommaso.
At least they haven't changed it to something else. I don't mind him just being called Ciampa.
I think people call him Ciampa.
I do. I normally just call him Ciampa. And when I write his name down, if I ever write his name down, I always put Ciampa because for some reason I always get the Tommaso. I always get it wrong. I always put 2 S's instead of 2 M's or whatever it's meant to be.
I think it's 2
M's. It's 2 M's, 1 S, isn't it?
Because I think some of their name change. I actually don't like Theory, especially as his like logo still is A&T, but he's not got called Austin anymore, so his logo doesn't work with his name.
I like Miz actually was trying to employ. He might be called The Theory, like The Miz.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they will do that. I don't know.
But
I think Elias's full name, and he was more than Elias.
Elias Sampson.
That's it. Yeah, that's one that actually worked, and I think at first.
Well, there's a few. Rusev was like something.
Andrade's wasn't too bad.
Yeah. What was Andrade? Not Ali.
Andrade's Cien Almas.
Yeah, that's way too long, isn't it, for an Andrade? And again, that's all. Everyone called him Andrade at the time.
Antonio Cesaro.
Yeah, I think we're digressing a little bit, going back over old names, but I think we're
maybe we should do one whole podcast.
Yeah, that whole segment
about
was great. Names. Ali's wrestling was good. We forgot to say that he actually beat the Miz as well, which is good. I was worried he was going to come back and they were just going to have the Miz pin him as a punishment. I was like, come on, but they had him win, so that was good. It was a roll up win, but it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Krusty. Do you want to
Top
get all positive?
Alamark, you ride up. So the reason this is my top mark is because suddenly I just became fixated by. I love it anyway, but I was fixated. I actually got goosebumps during this entrance. So Edge and Damian Priest's entrance, I just thought was incredible. I think the music is insane, the sort of lighting around it, and this chair. I think it was moving. The camera angle was so good.
It was moving, I think.
Yeah,
It looked like it was moving. And I just thought it was so cool. Edge nodded his head at like this precise moment when this music sort of dropped to a different beat, and then Priest stepped off of the like podium. I just thought everything about it was just amazing. Absolutely loved it, and I just really like this new stable we've got going on.
What are they called again?
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
It's just so cool and very different, and how quickly Edge has managed to sort of turn it around, change his character, and here we go.
He was like the biggest face in the company like a month ago. Now he's like this
massive
opposite
heel.
Character.
It saved Priest, I think, in my opinion, as well. I think he looked so cool. And then we sort of went into a match with Balor, which he loses. But I think and would love that Balor may eventually join this group. And I think this is unlikely to happen, but I think something that'd be really cool is if Edge could have some sort of power over Balor where he's able to almost summon the demon, even if he didn't do much and he was just sort of stood next to him as the demon in some promos, I think could be really cool. And then he unleashes him at the odd pay-per-view or something, just to sort of, they ruin the demon. I think this is a way of sort of bringing it back.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've all spoke about it before, the possibility of Rhea joining. Her makeup this week has completely changed, which I think, although she's always had this sort of dark persona, it's changed even darker. And I think it really would work, her joining this stable. And what a stable that would be.
Just talking about the Finn thing first. So I agree with you on the presentation of Edge and Priest is really cool. The Balor thing is interesting because I've got a bit of sort of a fantasy booking scenario, but I don't really think it's that fantasy. It could easily happen. So Balor and Priest, like you say, he could join that group. But obviously the main feud is with AJ Styles.
Yes.
So I think what you can do is a tag match of Edge and Priest versus Balor and AJ, Bullet Club reunion style.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had that match before, didn't they? Years ago when they did the two sweets in the ring.
Yeah.
So Balor and AJ and the Bullet Club connection. That's like, people are into that. So you can do them teaming, but then when they lose, you can have Balor turn on AJ.
Definitely.
And then you can
that's the way to do the
I don't mean immediately. I think Rhea's quick. I think she's come in once the Liv feud's over.
Even maybe during this feud.
She should.
She might beat Liv by some sort of weird light going off, Priest appearing, distracting Liv, and then she beats her. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they do that. I'm not saying they should do the lights out thing, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do it.
Lights out.
I'd rather they just do a clean finish. But
just Edge sitting on the stage.
Well, that's I was actually about to mention. That's the one thing I love about this is just Edge sat on the stage for the whole match, just watching. I love that. It's so simple. Bray Wyatt used to do
he obviously did a distraction finish as well because Balor went up to do the coup de grace and Edge stood up and Balor, that was what led to the finish. So Balor looks across at Edge and then that turned the match around. And Priest hit a new finisher as well. A new finisher from Priest.
I
didn't think that was new. I thought that was his sort of signature move where he tends to do that as well as it's like a choke slam where he sort of jumps and lays down at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's done it before, but it wasn't his finisher before. But he won from it, so he's been doing the Razor's Edge, which he did on the outside on the apron earlier on in the match. He's been doing that as his finisher. Obviously, he'd done the Reckoning before. But yeah, this was new to sort of as the final move. Anyway, he might have had it in his repertoire before. But
great word.
I suppose the Reckoning's quite similar to the Crossroads, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's basically the same.
Maybe they've taken it off a bit because of that.
There was rumours that he wasn't doing it in the build up to Mania because of that reason.
Bit of a shame because I thought it was cool, but
I don't mind when you get a character change if you're going to change your finisher.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. Like, again, talking back to Becky changing her, she went to manhandle slam. You know, I think change it up. Bailey did as well, and Bailey turned heel. She didn't do the belly to belly anymore. She did a different finisher.
Poor, to be fair.
So I think it's a good idea to change up your finisher when you change character. There's got to be some differences. You can't just be the same wrestler just with a different character. So I think it's good. I mean, I'll run through 3 things and we'll talk about it if we want to. Veer Mahan beat Sam Smothers.
Yeah, he's just beating people up.
Standing.
I want Ray to come back now so that they can continue the Veer Ray.
Yeah, it must be out for a while, mustn't it? Been on for a little bit.
Yeah.
We had Tozawa and Tamina beat Reggie and Dana Brooke.
Yeah, waste of time. Although one thing I did like was Truth trying to win the match as a ref.
That was great.
Counting his own pin.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
In my opinion, he should have won. But
I think he should have done.
I think they should have had him win and count his own pinfall. That would have been a nice touch. Other than that was crap though.
How long was Dana Brooke going to have?
They don't need to do that mixed tag after the wedding last week. It didn't make really any sense to them.
Also, we've had that mixed tag about 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, that was pointless.
And we had some arm wrestling between Lashley and Omos.
I thought this was okay. One thing I'll say I heard this on someone else say this on another podcast, is the reason they do these type of things, the arm wrestling, is they do mega numbers on YouTube as views. It's just something casual people like, they'll click on. I'm, as wrestling fans, I don't think we're that entertained by it. But I saw some figures the other day. It was something like 8, like there was one with Braun Strowman and Lashley or something like that, and it's got like 8 million views or something on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, people love this shit. Like, not necessarily the people that watch wrestling or Raw.
It'd be interesting if they actually did it. If they actually had an arm wrestle, I would be very interested to watch that. The fact that I know it's fake and Lashley's
going to win, Orton's going to beat him up. That's kind of the obvious.
Yeah, I thought the beatdown was kind of good, but yeah, it's kind of. I just they're having a second match and we'll see what happens. But yeah. Not
at least we're all into Omos a bit more than we ever have been before.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Should we go on to NXT?
Just checking. There's nothing else to say about Raw. I don't think there is there? No, I think we're ready to move on.
Are you ready?
What were you guys' standout moments from NXT? Because I'm looking through kind of not much standout wise. I don't think on the show.
Was it standout? Well, we had another name change. I don't think we've had much of a character change, but a name change of Kaylee Ray.
We had 2 on this show.
Yeah, and Kaden Catanzaro as well.
Yes. So Kaylee Ray is now Alba Fire.
Yeah. Nice little promo from her.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she explained the name change. That's good, rather than just Casey Catanzaro just changed it. No explanation. She's just Katana Chance.
What's funny is she came out as downloadable content on 2K as Kaden Catanzaro literally yesterday, and now she's had her name change. So that's kind of funny. But I'm talking of I keep going to call them Casey and Caden. I'm just going to keep doing that.
Casey
I really like them as a team, and I wish they would showcase more. And I thought they looked great again.
Yeah, they should be in the tag team title picture, shouldn't they?
I wouldn't even mind them getting pulled up to the main roster as part of the tag division and just having an extra tag team. And you don't have to split them and do you can just have a tag team that stays as
the main roster.
Don't have that.
Needs tag teams that are actual tag teams rather than throwing people together and it's not working. Just call up them 2 are a perfect example. Probably the only, apart from Toxic Attraction or something, but they're 2 people you wouldn't want on their own on the main roster, but have them as a team. They're just it's no
why not?
Since the Iconics, we've not really had it, have we? So
not really, no.
Okay, what else did we have on the wasn't much on this show, was there?
There wasn't too much. We had another Nikita Lyons Lash Legends match, which wasn't that good, was it? I mean, I really like Nikita Lyons, but I don't really rate Lash
I thought
Legends
the running back and forth off the ropes bit looked really botched.
Bad. Yeah,
it was like they went over.
I don't think they were meant to do that. You could see they were looking at each other trying to work out what to do. It was.
I don't think either of these 2 women are
I think Lash is
that
not
good.
at all.
Yeah, I don't think they're that good either of these 2. But after this, we got Natalya and then Cora Jade. We've now got a tag team match announced.
The tag match will be better because you've got a proper ring general in there in Natalya, and Cora Jade.
Natalya's have to do some carrying.
And Cora Jade, who is decent. I think we've seen enough of her to say she's good. Enough to be on. Good enough to be on TV. She is good enough to be on TV.
She's good, but she's not going to she's not going to assist anybody in.
No, Natalia's there for that.
Natalia's the one who's going to really carry that match. And I honestly think, I don't disagree with your comment that they're not that good, Keeney, but I do think they can be good wrestlers.
I think Nikita's okay.
Direction.
I think Nikita's all right. I don't think Lash is very good.
I think Lash might surprise you when she's got Natalia with her by her side. I honestly do.
Yeah, maybe that's why they've teamed her with her, probably, because
it
sounds like
what happens.
It sounds like from what she said as well, she's going to be. This is a bit of a segue, but onto the NXT Breakout Women's Tournament. Lash Legend said she was in it, and she's already someone that's on TV, so that's interesting. But yeah, just one little thing about that. We've got 3 promos throughout the show.
Yeah,
some new people.
Does anyone know? Do you know who they are for sure?
Well, one of them I didn't realize at the time, but is Santino Marella's daughter. So Ariana. I want to call her Ariana Grande because it's so similar. Ariana Grace, her name was.
Okay. Yeah.
The first one we saw
Grande
was she is Santino Marella's daughter.
That's cool.
I had heard she was with her name was Bianca something before, but they've changed it. So, she is. Yeah, that's cool. So that's a cool one. The other 2 I don't know anything about. One of them said she was 19, so she's obviously very young.
I mean,
the other one looked like she'd come out of the office and just. That one,
yeah. That one, yeah. That's actually one that stood out for me. I just wonder how big is women's division? We got the women's division on NXT is huge, considering you've still got names like Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, Zoe Stark. Remember her? She's still in the division. There's so many.
I saw today
on this roster.
There were 23, and I think there was 24 actually, because I don't think Ivy Nile was included, and she was technically
Ivy Nile.
24 people were on this. Women were on this show. 24.
Yeah, it's mad. And now they're going to introduce all these brand new women to us. I mean, it's great. I've got no problem with all these women being introduced, but let's get someone on the main roster. You could call up literally 8 women. And I know we've seen Raquel recently.
Io and Dakota should definitely
Leah, Shotzi, but
there is nothing left for Io and Dakota
can go up
at all.
You know, you can even bring Toxic Attraction up at this point, I guess. I don't know. There's just
when they lose the titles, I think you have to, because I don't see the point of Mandy staying down there, and I think you can then have a proper good heel women's faction on the main roster.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting what they're doing with the women. You had Fallon and Elektra as well have a match on this with the. It was end up being a handicap match, but there's lots of women featured on the show.
Yeah, there was. We have seen over the past few months NXT bring down the main roster stars, and we had another old team come down. The Viking Raiders came down, which I think are probably the perfect team to bring down because they are doing nothing on the main roster and they're so good. So why not use them?
And they're in NXT. They were a team that was huge in NXT.
Yeah,
I love them in
NXT Tag Champs.
Yeah,
and they beat Idris Enofe and Manic Blade, and they've got a match with the Creed brothers next week. Which is going to be some match. That is.
Roderick Strong set that up, so
and I think that is some way to put over. Because I assume the Creeds are going to win. That is some way to put them over by beating the Viking Raiders.
They're putting a lot into them now, with them almost winning that gauntlet by beating everybody.
Yeah.
Now they're really putting a lot of time and effort into them. I'm excited for that match. I think it's the first Viking Raiders match I've been excited for in probably over a year.
Yeah,
so probably.
No, you're right. And considering they were matches with the Usos recently, or before Mania.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they remember had that one in Saudi Arabia that they got attacked by.
What's good as well, just on the Viking Raiders, this match was much longer than they would have got on SmackDown.
Yeah,
they got a decent time here with Idris. And I said before, I like this team of Idris Enofe, Manic Blade. I quite like them. I think they're really good in ring, and I thought they were good here as well. But obviously,
I even thought their promo before was okay. You know, Enofe firing them up. They've got potential.
I like them.
And the Viking Raiders are great, like you say. And
they need a team name. They need a team name. I don't like teams that are.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
I just don't like teams where they haven't got a team name. And just quickly on that point, as I remember, last week you guys didn't mention it.
Taking advantage now.
You guys didn't mention it, but last week they are no longer called the Grizzled Young Veterans. Did you notice?
I did say that.
Did you?
Yeah.
You mentioned it. What are they called?
They're just called Gibson and Drake now.
Yeah, I said because they've taken and they even said I said about the thing on Twitter.
So I saw it, heard that bit where they took their.
I'm pretty sure I said that as well,
but I thought maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I heard you guys call them Grizzled Young Vets, which is.
I think I did at the start.
I think I did.
Yeah,
and then I think I said that.
That's one thing I noticed last week. They didn't mention Grizzled Young Vets at all on the show on NXT. They didn't mention the name.
No,
which was interesting. Why would you take that name away? But who knows?
But yeah, I was just saying how this week with Raw as well and NXT, it was like cool. It was like cool up and cool down city. There was people everywhere, wasn't there? Name changes, heel and face turns.
Yeah,
I read something about the other day about there being there's going to be loads of heel and face turns.
It's exciting. I really do like it.
We've seen a few,
and
it shuffles things up, doesn't it? It really shuffles the deck a bit.
Definitely. I mean, we already knew about it, but we had a call up from NXT UK.
Yes, Nathan Fraser
actually properly show his face, and wow. We always mention the like Darby Allin, how he flies around like a bullet.
That suicide dive.
Whoa,
that was mad, yeah.
That was fast.
I was disappointed he didn't get an actual match, but he's getting one next week on the like mini pay-per-view with Grayson Waller. Which is
it's not a bad first person to go with. It's Grayson Waller.
Yeah, so definitely.
That's exciting. And I saw because he tweeted about it being how far he's come since he trained with Seth Rollins' school in 2018. He tweeted about how proud he is, and I saw Seth Rollins actually tweet about him earlier, saying, I'm really proud of you, and you're going to be an even bigger star one day. So that says a lot. He's Seth Rollins' sort of pupil, if you like.
It's a big deal. And also, I think that
goes a long way in WWE when someone like that is your mentor.
It does. I've got to say, I think we're now ready to say goodbye to Sanga. Is that his run?
Yeah. I said that last week. I was like, he's done. I was like, we're not going to see him again.
There's no like retribution after the angle last week.
No, he didn't come out, did he?
Just see
the thing is, their roster's so big. I think they try people, and if it doesn't quite work, then they go.
Well, actually, we can move on to the finishing segment. The finishing segment for the NXT title. But one person we haven't seen for a long time is Haaland.
I wrote this down.
And Joe Gacy,
I was confused. Where is he?
Come out, cut a promo, and he has all these weird guys in cloaks with him.
Yeah, I feel like they've moved on to that instead of Haaland now.
Yeah, and Haaland, I was like, he had a guy behind him the whole time, and now he's in a title feud. Haaland's gone. Because I think we even mentioned,
there could be Haaland.
It could be Haaland in a title match. So I don't know what they've done with Haaland, but I thought he was quite an imposing figure behind Gacy, made him seem a bit more threatening.
I actually think it's worse now he's taken Haaland away. And they've got these guys around the ring. I don't like that bit.
No, I didn't like it.
I gave this my skid mark last week, and again, it was marginally better, but I didn't really like it this week either. I like the fact Rick's starting to come out and tried to sort of defend.
I quite liked them passing the belt down. Everybody's seen that before. I quite like that.
Yeah,
just
was unique. Okay. But the promo was rambly.
I mean,
I'm just not into
the angle's been a bit shit, but I think it's not a bad match for Breaker to just dominate Joe Gacy.
It's next week, isn't it?
It's not a bad first title feud. Yeah, it's on the spring break.
So at least it's not going. I don't think it'll go any further than that. I think it'll be NXT Spring Break-In, which is a weird name for a show.
It is. It's just a transitional feud for Breaker. He's just going to win, move on, and he's going to get a proper feud after this, I'm sure. I want to see Grayson Waller go for the title next, personally, if I'm picking my next opponent for him.
Yeah. I think Fisher has done a little musical statues move
Fisher's
there.
Frozen, or he's really contemplating a point.
I thought he was like really excited and was about to just blow into something then. So I was waiting for him. I was like, is he going to say something? No.
Imagine if he just blows now.
Oh no, he's that way. And he's going to go, break the walls down.
Whilst Fisher's frozen.
Sorry. I want to discuss the main title match. The women's.
Yeah, go for it, yeah. Fisher's gone.
Was it a title match?
It wasn't for the title, no.
It wasn't for the title, was it? So it was Perez versus Mandy Rose. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, Roxanne Perez.
That's it. I thought now, this is somebody I'm impressed by in ring. When I first saw Cora Jade, I didn't think much of her, to be honest. But I think Roxanne Perez, wow, did she put on a show? I really enjoyed this match, and Mandy Rose looked great as usual. I mean, she's doing really good stuff with this title. I just thought she was really impressive in ring, and I think I'm really excited to see what she can do.
Yeah, I can't remember where she came from, Roxanne Perez, but she was called Roxy before, and it was somewhere on. Fisher would know, he's gone, but
Max Fisher's gone.
Yeah, like he may return at some point, but he's gone for now.
Cause chaos.
He's gone for now. But I know she was somewhere like Ring of Honor before. I may be wrong. Here he is. Fisher will tell us in a minute. But so she has a lot of experience, or maybe not a lot, but she has experience.
Guess who's back?
Oh, here he is.
Fisher's back.
You were doing a House of
happened.
Black impression.
Honestly,
wasn't
I was in the middle of
Alistair
speaking,
Black.
and I froze and it just disconnected.
Me and Krusty both waited because like you're about to speak, and then you just froze. I was just saying,
something that's ever happened to me on this show.
We were just mentioning Roxanne Perez and Mandy Rose, and I was saying she was Roxy. Where does she come from?
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor was.
Here he is. Fax Fisher's straight
Here
in.
he is. Yeah, Fisher's got it.
I said last week she was champion, women's champion. The first one.
I was just saying how impressed I was.
She has a lot of
she's 20, but she's actually been wrestling for like 4 or 5 years or something, rather than some of the NXT people that are like.
And really also, she's come straight in and she's entangling with the champion, so they're pushing her clearly. So she could be one that gets champion soon, or maybe she just bypasses NXT and moves up straight away. You know, who knows? But
yeah, I think they see a lot in her.
She was very good this week.
I love the biting the hand and then putting the hand on the steps. I was like, female Pete Dunne. Like, that's what it reminded me of. Or kind of like even a Shayna Baszler style, you know, which I didn't see her like that before. I didn't know what she was going to be like.
Maybe she'll get called up and get called bitch. All right, let's
no.
What else did we have on the show? We had
that was fantastic. But yeah,
Solo Sikoa against Trick Williams.
This was a good match to see.
Yeah, and we've got a triple threat next week with Carmelo and Cameron Grimes, which is going to be amazing for the North American title.
Yeah, Solo just got like a warm-up win here, didn't he? Which is the right thing to do.
Nice to see Trick.
And an accidental super kick afterwards to Grimes by Sikoa.
It's classic. We mentioned Grayson Waller already, but I quite liked his backstage thing with Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I don't know about it.
I quite like that. I think they work together. They're both really like arrogant and don't realise how arrogant they are. I just think it was quite a cool pairing. So
I think I'm going to find them really annoying.
Two together. I would.
I know that's the idea, that they're both really annoying, but I think it might be too annoying for me.
No, I'm all for that.
We'll see how it goes, but yeah. Did you mention the I know I mentioned it earlier briefly, the handicap match, but how we got to that with Brooks got attacked, didn't he? Backstage.
Yeah, by
Von Wagner. So they thought it was Legado, Fallon and Josh Briggs. But yeah, he looked the wrong way at that girl. They actually said her name this week. I think it's Sophia Cromwell.
Yeah, it's definitely Cromwell. Yeah,
Sophie or Sophia Cromwell. And I don't know what the point of her is, by the way. What she's either in the crowd just pointing at Von Wagner, and here she walked backstage and just stood there, and then he got beaten up for looking at her.
There's definitely something with her and Von Wagner, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's weird. It's not really been explained what she is and why she's there yet.
No, but I think she has quite a decent look about. Like, I think she's quite tall, and I think as long as she can wrestle, I think she could be a decent addition. But we'll see. We haven't seen her.
And then Von Wagner
in ring
as well had a match on the show, didn't he?
Beat Tony D.
Yeah,
didn't he? But it was because
it was because Santos Escobar. I mean, I like Escobar versus Tony. I like that as a feud.
Yeah,
Von Wagner just bores me.
Oh yeah, and didn't Tony introduce us to his team?
Yeah, I didn't write the names down of these guys.
Something Donovan. I was going to say Jason Donovan. It's not Jason Donovan.
No,
it's definitely
Jason Donovan.
Something Donovan. And I can't remember the other one's name. It sounded like Dime, wasn't it? I'm sure he said Dime.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I wasn't paying too much attention, but so yeah.
Either way, he has two new guys with him, which I think Tony D'Angelo. I've got the names here, sorry. Troy Donovan and Channing Lorenzo.
Channing Lorenzo, that's it, yeah.
Nothing to do with Dime.
Lorenzo. They literally could not think of a more Italian name, could they? They're like, what's an Italian name? Lorenzo. There we go.
Yeah, I know.
I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cruz del Toro is Raul Mendoza's name now.
Yeah, that was changed a couple of weeks back.
Okay, that one quiet.
It's hard.
They mentioned it on.
It is hard. I didn't know that one.
They mentioned it on commentary last week and this week. In the match because he wrestled last week and they called him Cruz del Toro.
Yeah, I'd always listen to commentary because I sometimes I'm getting ready whilst I'm watching.
Yeah, and then this week You know, they didn't like announce it like they did with Alba Fire. They didn't do a promo. He just wrestled and they started calling him it.
Yeah, actually, I think you guys might mention also, but maybe that's a sign they might be called up at some point. Legado.
Yeah, I think they should be soon because they're so good.
Yeah,
and I'd love to see Santos Escobar get a proper run.
Yeah, he's amazing. I'm surprised he hasn't never had a NXT title run actually yet.
Yeah, he definitely could.
He could.
Is
that all from NXT? That's all I've got.
I think so. Yeah, I can't got anything else.
Yeah, I think that's about it, isn't it?
We've gone through it all.
Yeah, we have. All right, cool. Well, that is it for this week. It's a WWE special. I think we've still kept the same amount of time we do normally because we have rambled on a bit there. We had a few.
Raw was a huge one.
It was a busy show this week for Raw. So Fisher will be back tomorrow with some live reaction. Well, not live, but
he's not going to go live.
Unless you want to stay up all night, Fisher, and watch it. It's up to you.
No, I'll watch Dynamite in the morning and I'll record a video tomorrow about it. Yeah.
But some pretty hot off the press.
So we want to cover AEW because we all love watching AEW, but the problem is we don't always necessarily get it watched by. We've got literally the day of the pod, so
yeah, it's a freak. This is a one-off, but
yeah,
you have to do what you have to do, don't you?
I hope you've enjoyed our
podcast. Yeah,
and to be honest, it gives us extra content because that means if you like AEW and you just like AEW, you can check out our review. You know,
and that is a good point, Fisher. So, and on the subject of extra content, I've been doing a My GM mode on WWE2K, which is out on the Recharge Twitter, YouTube channel, but I've also tweeted it. But so check us out on YouTube at Recharge.
So I haven't even watched the first episode. But it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
So I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in. They're going to be scheduled over the next few days. So there's more to come, and I'll be recording more as well. But also
Clint McDonegal for Universal Champion is all I'm saying.
Yeah, Clint McDougall.
Clint McDougall, that's it. For Universal Champion. That's all I've got to say about it.
You need to watch it because then it'll make sense.
I can't wait.
Clint McDougall will make sense to you.
Spoilers.
He's not actually Universal Champion, but I want him to be because he owns.
One day he does own. But also check us out on, because we're all going to WWE Live on Friday, and we'll be recording content there. Last time we had that Drew McIntyre promo about a UK pay-per-view. Yes. There'll just be general content coming from there, so keep your eye out.
Some exclusives.
I think our plan will be to try and post that live whilst we're there to kind of have live reaction. But if not, it'll come out the day after. So we're going to have a lot coming up on our YouTube and on Twitter in the next couple of days. So please get in touch. YouTube, Recharge Wrestling. On Twitter, at Recharge Wrestle. And we'll be back this time. Well, no, we'll be back normal time next week. So we'll see you then, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.